Good. Absolutely.
Okay, could you introduce yourself?
I'm Richard from Right Said Fred.
And I'm Fred from the same band.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Yes, I know. We're both here together. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, really. You're doing pretty well. Look at the car outside.
Oh yeah, that's well. It looks like it's got lots of attitude, that limo. But the thing is, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us travelling. We have 3 people with us, so there's 6 of us in total. And it's actually probably cheaper to have one big car than 2 or maybe 3 smaller cars, and then there's all our clothes and luggage. So it looks a bit poncy, but it's probably the most practical way of doing it.
So you like it?
It's okay. I'm not sure about white limos. They're a bit ostentatious, but it does the job, you know.
I read this interview. Hi. Could you introduce yourself as well?
I'm Rob from Right Said Fred.
Okay, cool. That's another coincidence.
And I find the white limo a little bit embarrassing as well.
I thought, well, these guys should really hit the big time. I read this interview in National Music Express, and you didn't expect that "I'm Too Sexy" would be a great hit. Why not?
Because I never thought anything would be a great hit. Because if you've been taking demo tapes around to record companies for 10 years and being shown the door all the time and never having any success at all, it's much easier to believe that things won't happen than to believe that they will, because you're more used to it. And success, when it happened, it was a much more unusual thing to happen than failure, because we'd never been successful before. So although I thought "Sexy" was a really interesting and odd track, and it sounded great when we finished to put the bass down and the final mix, it was all sounding really good. I still didn't think that. I didn't think that would be a hit. I didn't think "Don't Talk" would be a hit. And I didn't think "Deeply Dippy" would be a hit. Whereas, funnily enough, I thought "Bumped" would be a big hit. So there you go. It's a good job I don't work in a record company, isn't it?
Maybe it sounds like you should work in a record company. They don't know what's going on either.
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Apart from our record company, who are fabulous.
Yeah.
Because you're indie.
Yes, independent. It's the only way to be.
Yeah, why?
Why? Because you don't have to put up with all that major record company bullshit.
But U2 is on a major label and they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, but they're full of, maybe I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Obviously there are lots of major bands out there with major record companies who make millions and millions of pounds. I personally wouldn't want to be signed to one. Although, in a way, we are, because we're with Virgin in America and lots of other territories. But Virgin seem to have a different. They don't seem to act like a major record company. It's not particularly ostentatious or bureaucratic. They're just like a very big independent record company. So I don't know. Maybe it just depends how well you're doing or badly you're doing. I don't know.
So also with majors, if it's a lot less personal. Unless you're one of the top bands and you're doing really well, then you can't get to speak. Your manager can't speak to the head of the record company. You can't speak to the distributors, the marketing people. You'll have to wait a week before you get through to them, unless you're Janet Jackson at the top.
Well, you're pretty at the top at the moment.
Of our record company, we are, yes.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you say you're not like really positive about the major labels, but in the same interview in Enemy, you were pretty positive about the charts. How come?
Positive about the charts?
Yeah.
I don't know when that interview was. The charts.
It was like, explain it. I was like, okay, the record companies they rule and they bring out bullshit every time, and that's why. Most good music isn't you can hear it on the radio or whatever, but I wouldn't allow students to decide on what people should hear on the radio.
Well, the trouble with major companies is that because they're corporate, because they're all owned by Sony or they're owned by Polygram or they're owned by somebody, any decision that they make becomes a corporate decision, and and at least 2 or 3 people are involved. It's not like the old days of British television where you have one man like Sir Lou Grade who could decide whether to let you make a TV series. You just walked into his office and said, "I've got this idea," and he'd say, "Yes, you've got a 13-part series, go and get on with it." That inspiration, and it's the same with Hollywood in the old days. All the studios were owned by 1 or 2 men, and there was a spontaneity about the way they produced stuff. They could go off on a whim and a gut feeling. It's very difficult in a corporation to do that because you have to clear it through all sorts of people. So, which is why I suppose a lot of dance music comes off independence, because it's more reactive. Independent labels can react much more quicker. They're smaller, they're more flexible. They can turn records around much more quickly. So that's. I don't think it's not a recipe for disaster to be signed to a major. But when you quoted U2 just now, it's easy to have a good relationship with your record company if you're U2. But if you're on a major label and you're not happening, that's when the relationship starts getting very sticky.